Welcome to Deep Thought. Living outside the mainstream. And now let me be clear when I say mainstream, because I don't mean like on some extreme level that you in some wilderness or some island or something and you living on your own, you're not interacting with people. I don't mean that. That's way out there. And personally, I don't have any experience doing that, so I'm not going to speak on it. But when I say outside the mainstream, what's the mainstream? It's like the mainstream way of doing things. Getting that regular job, regardless if it's a minimum wage job or a hiring career, either on salary or whatever, or being an entrepreneur, business owner, getting that home, that house, that, buying that house or renting that house or getting that apartment or buying that condo, and then, going to work every day, going back, or working on something, having certain hours and everything. But you have some people, well, before I even get into that, it's just like a total way of being, maybe, you're not following the common religion everyone is following. Or you're not, you might eat differently from most people. Like, well, that's becoming more mainstream veganism, something like that. But what if you're in an area where it's not? Basically, you outside of everything. Even like your clothing choices, they're not normal. What you see every day, you may dress in a certain way. It's so many things, even adorn yourself in a certain way. You might be on one of those, some people might call it an alternative lifestyle, something like that. And I was thinking about that. Because, I think about everything. And that's kind of deep because one, your mindset is going to be different. Because let's just be real, most people are following everybody else. Most people are thinking in a certain way. And I mentioned being entrepreneurial, that can even be a little bit outside of the norm. Despite how many businesses we out here, most people don't have a business. And then even then, you have even fewer people who have a business that's actually successful. But what if you had a business? What if you outside of the norm and you just do things different? What if you that person, you make your money doing astrological readings? That's outside the norm. Or maybe I don't know, it could be anything. Like I know of a woman, she does a special type of massage that is related to Tantra. And she's making money outside of that, but she's outside the mainstream. And you're actually living, think about it. You're not going to a 9-to-5 job, might not be getting money normally. You might not celebrate the same holidays that the majority of people celebrate. And not on some dude to be doing some player stuff, talking about, nah, I don't celebrate those holidays. Knowing he just don't want to get presents for the woman he's dealing with. Oh man. But outside the mainstream, it's really different. Like you just away from everything, your mindset, how you present yourself, how you think. Like these people, it is interesting when you encounter someone like that. Indeed, even with what I'm doing now, a lot of people don't make money doing this. I'm in this big old home, but a lot of people I guarantee if more people around and about say, wow, you afford that? And you're just doing that? Videos and stuff? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't make money doing this because I don't work for anybody. I don't work for anybody. Now, entrepreneurial business and all of that, but that's still a different thing. And I could just speak from my perspective because I've been even always say 1,000 jobs, but a lot of it was just the support, just being kind of outside of everything. Having worked, I wouldn't call it, well, yeah, you could call it regular. Like when I was working retail, that was more the support, just doing all of this. But it's still different. And indeed, some people outside the mainstream, in just how they carry themselves, how they present themselves. There are businesses that actually cater to that. There's a local store chain that used to sell like just CDs and stuff. You know how they've gone, but you know, toys and all of that. And I noticed, I peeped the type of people who would work there. And let's just say they're outside the mainstream. You actually have businesses and stuff that cater to those types because it's catering to people, you know, in different subcultures, alternative lifestyles. But it's still outside of it because it's like your mindset, how you're looking at everything, it really is different. How you moving through life. Shoot, even the relationships, how you looking at relationships, you know? Because it's going to be a different vibe, different way of doing things. Indeed, I know of couples now because, you know, I'm connected with so many things. And you could actually say that they're married, but, you know, they don't have a legal, under the law, marriage, but then they still behaving as a couple. But they totally outside of the norm, you know, the norm and how they making their money. But they making their money, and this is a little taps into a little bit of my Money Matters channel, because there are enough people that want their service. But whatever the case, they still outside of it. It's just an interesting dynamic. It's an interesting dynamic because the thing I found when you find the people, when you encounter them, and, you know, really in many ways living that way myself, is you just move different. You think different. You don't get up. Because one thing, when you're in the mainstream, just the mainstream of doing things, you know, the 9 to 5, or if you on a salary position, the 8 to 7. You know, it's like you kind of regimented in everything. You're moving according to your own rhythm. I mean, well, you regimented rather, let me say that better. You're moving to someone else's rhythm. It's like boom, boom, boom. In fact, someone had said that, I remember a couple people said that about the school system. It's really preparing you to really work under a certain system. And that's deep when you really think about it, right? That's deep. So I'm like, you know what? And it's deep when you just, seriously, some of y'all probably do that. Some of y'all probably making money in different ways that's not the norm. And just really entrepreneurs a lot of times, you know? And it's still providing a service, but it's still outside the norm. Because like I said, well, most people don't have businesses. The overwhelming majority of people don't. For every business out there, yeah, it's not like every single person out here has that. So even that can be outside the norm in some ways. Or if you're a solopreneur or independent contractor, and shoot, don't let me get into like people whose livelihoods, lifestyles are more underground. That's a whole other thing right there. But it's something to think about. It's something to think about because your mindset has to be totally different. Your mindset has to be different. Just think about it, all right? As always, think on this. Anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.